What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into Alien issue number 3. The year is 2195. We are picking up with Batya Zahn, her partner Dayton, and her daughter Sasha. And Batya is a scientist. They have been researching the water resources on the frozen moon of LV-695. But after the discovery of a facehugger frozen in ice, Weyland-Yutani had bought the company they worked for. They had done this in the hope to gather up all the research and any samples that might be found. But after their first excavation, they thawed out a monstrous Xenomorph nest, with Dayton imprisoned on the Weyland-Yutani ship, Sasha in hiding, and an unusual colored Xenomorph on the loose inside the base. The crew doesn't know it yet, but death is right around the corner. So make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we are picking up at the Keg, the research facility on this frozen moon. And right now, they are trying to figure out what this giant explosion just was. While the man in charge, he's still completely unaware of what they are about to encounter. With the comms completely messed up, we're taken to the lower levels, because the Weyland-Yutani crew members had just faced against one of these very juvenile Xenomorphs. Before it was able to fully evolve into what it's supposed to be, the crew had opened fire in the hopes of killing it, but in doing so, they cause a chain reaction of explosions. What remains of the crew, they go to the weapon locker. They grab the med kits. They patch themselves up. They arm themselves. And they get ready to take out anything that is down here. And while their orders are to take whatever they find alive, after what they have just experienced, they have no intention of making sure everything is alive. And so, as the crew prepares for battle, we pick up with the doctor, talking to herself, wanting to get into her lab, wanting to get to her research. This is when her daughter Sasha comes from the ceiling, comes from the air ducts, ecstatic that her daughter is still alive, that nothing has happened to her. Meanwhile, we have Dayton, who is broken out of his little prison, knocking out the guard and making his way through the ship. He makes it to the command center. He gets on the comms and he tries talking to his daughter, trying to see if she can hear. While he tries to get in communication, Sasha and the doctor, they are currently discussing a way to get out of here, with the good doctor being pregnant. Going through the air ducts simply is not an option for her. But the doctor wants to get to the laboratory. This is when Sasha goes to say that she was there, that she took the specimen like she asked, but it had thawed out. And when it finished thawing out, it jumped out of the bag and jumped onto the soldier's face. But she says that that's okay, that she has samples from that specimen, but they need to get to the lab so that they can get those samples. And so while Sasha works on breaking the lock on the door, from her bag, the radio that she has, they can hear Dayton. Dayton is letting him know that he was able to break out of the brig, that he is still on the ship and he can get this thing airborne. With there only being one person left on board, he wants them to gather their stuff and then make their way to the Weyland-Yutani ship. But Batya doesn't want to leave, because what is in that laboratory, that is going to be their ticket for safety. That is going to be their protection. If they are able to get off of this rock, they're going to need something to bargain with. Something that Weyland-Yutani wouldn't just end their lives. At this point, the doctor is already assuming that Weyland-Yutani knows what they were doing, or at least they got a pretty good idea. Now, us as the reader, we still don't fully understand the experiments that they have been running down here. So Sasha and the doctor, they hightail it to the lab, and Dayton gets the ship ready for takeoff. Getting to the laboratory, they gather up anything and everything that might be of use for them. As they gather up all of the evidence, all of the samples, we are taken to the lower levels. The crew of Weyland-Yutani, the soldiers that are still alive, now completely armed, ready to take on anything that stands before them. As they make their way through the Keg, this is when they run into the Xenomorph. No longer a juvenile, now ready to take them out. We see James ripped in half by a tail. The other two guys, they open fire, and we see the Xenomorph take off down a hallway. As Sasha and the doctor are finally out of the cage, they begin to head over to the Weyland-Yutani ship. But this whole time, the ice has been cracking. We see the ice break away, and the Weyland-Yutani ship, it begins to fall into the ice. While Sasha and the doctor were able to make it to safety, they are still unsure on the outcome of Dayton. Not sure if he survived that fall. Regardless, the ship is going to be almost unusable at this point. But taking us back over to the lower levels in the cage, the soldiers opening up fire, they are able to take down the Xenomorph. The blood acid going in all directions. As they get closer to it and they get a closer look at what this monster is, they are in complete disbelief. And while they were able to take down one, that ice that broke on the outside, this is given way for more Xenomorphs. As the nest begins to climb its way up, they are headed directly for the cage. And Dayton, still alive inside the Weyland-Yutani ship, he is recognizing that there is nothing he can do. That he can't save them, he can't save himself, that he can't save anybody. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Definitely not a bad third issue. I was really hoping that this got pushed forward a little bit. I was hoping that the plot was gonna move forward faster. With only 3 more issues left, the fate of the Weyland-Yutani crew and Sasha and her parents, it all hangs in the balance. With an army of Xenomorphs now descending down on them, it is only a matter of time before they are completely overrun. But the bigger question is lying right underneath the surface. What have they been doing on this frozen moon? What experiments have they been running? Why was one of these Xenomorphs an unusual color? While they hide what they have been doing, we're gonna find out in the coming issues exactly what these experiments are and what they have been doing to these Xenomorphs. But it looks like any way of escape has been taken off the board. The Weyland-Yutani ship seems to be sunken in the ice. Dayton completely helpless, surrounded by Xenomorphs, one hand unable to do anything to save those he loves. And with the army of Xenomorphs descending down on the cage, the fight for survival is about to begin. So let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to get completely caught up on everything going on with this series, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything going on with Alien. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. If you are unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.